Okay, what's up, everybody? Going to show, got a puppy underfoot here. I'm going to show you one of the awesome tools that I use to lose weight, and it is this thing that you've probably seen your mom or your grandma using. It's a crock pot. It's a slow cooker. What it allows you to do is buy a cheap cut of meat, okay? That's tough. And cook it for a really freaking long time until it's tender and delicious. So, buy some freaking meat. In my case, bought a little nicer cut, but doesn't matter. You want to try to go for leaner if you can. So, like this is the cut here. Like this is fat. I'm just going to leave that, but if there were huge things of fat, I might cut them off. Like here, for example, maybe I don't want all that fat. Maybe I don't need it. I'm cutting. If you're bulking, you might have a totally different opinion on what to do with that. So, let me get that off. All right, trim it up a little bit. One of the things that I do, this is really important, especially if you're like me and you're counting your macros. So like I want to know how much protein I'm getting, how much carbs, fat, etc. So, got a food scale down here. Ta-da! And I'm going to throw this thing on here and see what I'm dealing with. I've got 34. Okay, so 34 ounces of meat. I'm going to record that. One of the ways I typically do this is I'll make a meal in MyFitnessPal, and I'll say there's a meal of 34 ounces of meat and whatever else, and then when it's done cooking, I measure it out, and I'll show this here when we video this tomorrow. I'll measure it out so that I know exactly how many calories I'm getting when I eat this stuff. Okay, so here I'm showing MyFitnessPal. I'm adjusting the number of ounces of meat. I've got my salsa. Then what I'm going to do is save this as a meal. So I saved the entire thing in the crock pot as a meal. And now when I have it, I can measure out the final weight and put in. So let's say I measure it out as 28 ounces. I'm going to have a quarter of it. Then I'm just going to add a meal of 0.25. And there's my calorie tracking. Okay. You cannot just throw a piece of meat in this thing. It will dry up into a little shriveled frickin' nub of, I don't know, awfulness. Salsa. I'm going to throw some salsa in here. Really be careful. This salsa's ingredients are roasted tomatoes, roasted chili, salt, water. There is no sugar. Really try to avoid salsas with sugar because you don't need it. And I don't know. There's just one of the best things you can do for your nutrition is just to start cutting out any cases where they've added sugar to stuff. You'd be impressed. Okay, I measured this out. This is about 300 calories. So just so you know, this is about 300 calories. This is about 1,400 calories. This is about 1,700 calories. So, you could frickin' eat a fourth of this with the salsa, and you're looking at, 400 calories or so, 450. Boom. I'll show you what I did here. There she be. There she be. And we've got somebody just waiting here, just praying that I drop something. Right, Ramona? She's a little camera shy. Okay. Now, instead of having to slave away, right? All you have to do is put the lid on, plug it in, and just set the timer. So let me do that. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to set this thing for a cook time, let's say 10 hours. We'll just let this thing frickin' cook. And that's it. So, one of the reasons people don't cook for themselves is because it's so damn hard. But that was a minute. You just got to shop, buy the right stuff, which, hey, you're probably going to the grocery store anyway. And a minute, and you're done. I mean, that is a great way to go. Uh, on top of rice, like especially if you can afford to get a lot more carbs in, on top of like potatoes, things like that. If you're really cutting, on top of like a green veggie, like on top of a broccoli, something like that, really good. So anyway, we'll let this go for about 10 hours, and we'll see what we got. All right, and here's a little video of the finished product.